Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You open your eyes, but something feels wrong. There's no sound of traffic, no electricity, no heating. You walk outside, and the world has completely changed. Everything is buried beneath miles of snow. The temperature is so cold that the air itself hurts to breathe. There's no supermarket, no hospitals, no internet, no warm bed waiting for you tonight. And somewhere, hidden inside the endless white wilderness, a hungry predator is watching your every move. Now here's the scary part. This wasn't a nightmare. This was real life for your ancestors over 20,000 years ago. This was the Ice Age, a world where one small mistake meant death. Yet somehow, humans didn't just survive. They conquered one of the harshest environments Earth has ever created. But how? How did weak, hairless humans manage to survive a frozen planet filled with giant predators when even powerful animals went extinct? Today, we're going back in time to find out exactly how they did it. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never complain about winter again. Around 20,000 years ago, Earth looked completely different. Huge sheets of ice covered much of North America, Northern Europe, and Asia. Some glaciers were over 2 miles thick. That's taller than many mountains today. Sea levels were lower. Entire countries that are underwater today were once dry land. But the biggest challenge wasn't the snow. It was the cold. In some places, winter temperatures dropped below minus 50 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze exposed skin within minutes. For most animals, that would be the end. But humans had something much more powerful than thick fur. They had their brains. Imagine being dropped into the middle of that frozen world. No jacket, no boots, no lighter. Could you survive? Even one night? Probably not. But Ice Age humans did something incredible. Instead of running away from nature, they learned to outsmart it. And that changed everything. The first challenge wasn't hunting. It was surviving the very first night. As the sun disappeared behind the frozen mountains, time was running out. Before darkness arrived, they had to prepare. Every single minute could make the difference between life and death. The first thing they searched for was fuel, dry branches, fallen wood, and anything that could burn. Not every piece of wood was useful. The driest would produce the strongest fire. Now everything was ready, except one thing. They still needed a spark. Stone against stone, over and over again. Most attempts failed, but they refused to give up. Then, something incredible happened. A tiny glowing ember appeared. Carefully, they protected it and helped it grow. Within moments, the very first flame came to life. Fire, perhaps the greatest discovery in human history. It brought warmth to a frozen world. It filled the darkness with light. It allowed food to be cooked, making it safer and easier to eat. And its bright glow helped keep dangerous animals at a distance. Soon, every camp was built around the fire. But fire alone wasn't enough. They still needed protection from the freezing environment. That meant finding or building shelter. Some groups found safety inside natural caves. Others built simple homes using whatever nature provided. Choosing the right location was just as important as building the shelter itself. Strong branches became the frame. Animal skins helped cover the walls and roof. Heavy stones kept everything firmly in place. Simple, but surprisingly effective. Families stayed together, sharing both warmth and responsibility. Everyone had a job to do. Because survival wasn't about one person, it was about the whole group. Little by little, small camps became thriving communities. For the first time, humans were beginning to master the Ice Age. But surviving the cold was only half the battle. Now they faced an even bigger challenge: finding enough food. Success didn't depend on strength. It depended on planning, patience, and teamwork. Stone-tipped spears became one of humanity's greatest tools. They practiced again and again until every throw became more accurate. Knowledge was passed from one generation to the next. Hunters waited patiently, watching every movement of their prey, because perfect timing meant everything. Every hunter trusted the others completely. Together, they achieved something no human could have done alone. But where did the food come from? Mammoths looked impossible to hunt. One mistake could ruin everything. So they watched. For hours, they learned every movement. Every trail told a story. The hunt began long before the chase. Preparation was everything. Every weapon had to be perfect. They never hunted alone. Teamwork was their greatest weapon. Communication meant survival. They understood the land. Nature became their greatest teacher. They followed the seasons. They knew where animals would go. Patience always came first. The right moment changed everything. Nothing was wasted. Bones became tools. Animal skins became clothing. Survival meant using everything nature provided. Food had to last for weeks. Cold became their natural refrigerator. Every season required a new strategy. The smartest people survived. Their greatest weapon wasn't strength, it was their mind. Every generation learned from the last. Knowledge was their greatest treasure. One invention inspired another. Step by step, humans changed the world forever. But the Ice Age didn't last forever. The world was changing. Humans adapted once again. That's why we're still here today. The greatest survival story in human history was just the beginning. Every comfort you enjoy today exists because someone survived. Against impossible odds, they survived so humanity could continue. And that is how humans conquered the Ice Age. But one question still remains. If you were born during the Ice Age, would you survive? Maybe the greatest survival tool was never fire or weapons. It was the human mind. Imagine sharing your world with creatures twice your size. The Ice Age wasn't ruled by humans. It belonged to giants. Towering woolly mammoths crossed the frozen plains. Massive woolly rhinos wandered through deep snow. Giant elk carried antlers wider than a car. Powerful musk oxen stood together against danger. Herds stretched across the endless white landscape. But herbivores weren't the only threat. Hungry predators were always watching. The terrifying saber-toothed cat waited patiently. Dire wolves hunted together as a deadly pack. Enormous cave bears ruled dark caves. One wrong step could become your last. Humans survived because they stayed smarter, not stronger. Every single day was a fight to stay alive. But then, everything started changing. The climate refused to stay the same. The giants couldn't adapt fast enough. Humans could. They changed their homes. They changed their food. They changed their tools. They never stopped learning. Every generation became smarter. Knowledge became humanity's superpower. They adapted faster than nature changed. The strongest animal didn't win. The smartest one did. That's the real reason we're here today. Our greatest weapon was never strength. It was curiosity. It was teamwork. It was knowledge. And that's why humanity survived. Humanity's journey was only beginning. Every step our ancestors took led to us. Their courage became our future. Every fire they protected became civilization. Every lesson they learned became human knowledge. We carry their story inside us. The Ice Age ended, but the human journey never did. From frozen caves to reaching the stars. The greatest survivor on Earth wasn't the strongest. It was the one who never stopped learning. If this incredible journey amazed you, help keep these forgotten stories alive. Every like helps this story reach more people. Subscribe for the next incredible adventure. Because history is full of unbelievable stories. Which ancient mystery should we explore next? Tell us in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And remember, your story exists because someone survived the Ice Age.